Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of college writing. I'm pretty much done grading everything from week 1 except for the discussion boards. I was really impressed with your thoughts and your insights and the various perspectives that you guys brought to the salvation essay and then to the other two essays that you were reading and evaluating, and then even your free writes and thesis statements. This is a very solid, good group of students, so I'm really excited about the next 7 weeks that we have together. So this week, week 2, we're getting just into week 2 today. I'm going to just walk through some things for this week to note, and some things that may not be specifically in your college writing schedule. Remember, I noted you can print the schedule, so it lists everything that's due for each week. These are all my notes on there. So there are some things that may not be on there that I get more specific about. So that's why it's really good to watch these videos each week. I do one almost every week. Sometimes if there's not as much, I'll just type it up, but usually it's worth doing a video for. So for this week, you have your things to read, the 3 different drafts of Eric's essays, the revision checklist, which you'll actually be using to submit assignment 2-3, and then rereading the Junk Eddy essay from last week. So then first, your first rough draft you're going to be working on. This one is, it says in the syllabus that some of them are 3 to 5 pages. This one, because it's your narrative, is 2 to 3. This is different than the other ones. So it's 2 to 3 pages, double spaced, that's MLA style. And it's important to note that it's a minimum of 2 full pages and a max of 3 full pages. Part of the things in this course is teaching you to learn to write within parameters. So 2 to 3 isn't just a random number. We put that there because it can be a challenge to only write 3 and to keep it to 3 or less, and it can be a challenge to make it more than 2 sometimes. So it has to be at least 2 full and no more than 3, otherwise points are deducted. And as we go through this course, you'll notice some courses you've taken, the instructors weren't quite as maybe focused on the nitty-gritty details. If you're taking a theology class from hermeneutics, education, and you're writing papers, there may be times where some instructors aren't as focused in on the nitty-gritty, like the grammar and works cited and following MLA, things like that. But for this course, because it is college writing, it's supposed to help support you in your college writing career. I paid a lot more attention to those kinds of things. And so that's why I provide you with the MLA handout. And that's why in week 1, I'm pretty lenient on like the MLA format and things like that. Starting in week 2, I grade based on those things as well. So that's just to give you a little bit of insight in how my grading goes. Is I'm looking for your content and your essay, and are you hitting your thesis and your subpoints, but I'm also looking for those grammar details and punctuation. And it's my red marks on your paper are not to frustrate you, they're just to help you learn. And believe me, it's taken me many, many years, and I'm still learning nuances about English. So back to the rough draft. 2 to 3 pages, minimum 2, max of 3 for your narrative essay. If you happen to use an outside source, it's not required for this one, but if you happen to use an outside source, make sure you cite it properly and include a works cited page. That's all in the MLA handout I provided last week as well. And especially for the rough draft and your revision checklist, the sooner you get those done in the week, the more you'll have my feedback for your rough draft. It can be a challenge to do your rough draft and revise and then provide a second draft and a final draft. It's a lot of work to do in 1 week, but the sooner you're able to get those earlier pieces in, the more I'll be able to hopefully get things graded over the weekend by Saturday. So then you'll have a couple days to mull over that and the student responses and be able to produce a really solid final draft. So that's for your rough draft. Then you have the responding to the questions from Eric's various drafts. It's always interesting to see the various responses to this because of the flow of his thinking and his process in these 3 drafts. So answer each question within, like, so it says read Eric draft 1, and then there's all these questions. Overall response, what do you think is the point? Type those out and then type out your answer to those. And let's see, then assignment 2-3, your revision checklist. After reading that revision checklist, answer the questions, and then that's what you will submit for assignment 2-3. Remember, and this particular thing isn't nitpicky. This is like the overall content. Do you have your thesis? Is it solid? Do your main points in your essay support that thesis? It all comes back to the thesis. So if you have a paragraph that doesn't answer a question or prove your thesis, drop it or rework it so that it does. So this is a big stage. This is the stage of big changes for your essay. Assignment 2.4, doing your second draft. This is when by Friday at midnight, you'll need to have this done because you need to give your fellow students the Saturday, Sunday to be able to respond to you and to your draft. So you'll make some comments based on that, choose the important areas. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect at this point, but it should be probably 75% there. And then just post that to the discussion board by Friday at midnight. And then look at 2 other students' responses Saturday and Sunday and provide them with some good, solid feedback. Sometimes students don't want to critique each other too much. They say, well, this is great and that's good. I think this is solid and everything's like that. But you can kindly give them some really honest critique because that's how we learn from each other. So assignment 2.4 by Friday at midnight. Be able to post that and then look at the ones from your fellow students. And then 2.5, assignment 2.5 is your final draft. And it lists here for you exactly what you need to be looking for. This should be your most polished, finished narrative essay. And then as you look, let's see, through, especially I use rubrics for grading various things like the final essays. I use a rubric that some of them are created by Moody, some have been created by myself. So when you submit those final drafts, not so much on the rough drafts, but really the final draft is when you'll get the grade. And I'll attach a file that kind of combines your rough draft with your final draft. And so you'll see lots of track changes and various colors all over the place. But that's because I combine them so I can see the progression of your essay from the start to the finish. And so you'll get that file back with my comments and changes and notes and things like that, and you'll get a rubric attached. That the rubric gives like the standards and the parameters and maximum points for each standard and parameter, and then you'll see how yours compared to the max, things like that, and then that's how your grade is determined. So it's not just me reading it and looking at it and coming up with something on my own. It's a standardized thing. So assignment, final draft. You'll be turning that in by next Monday at midnight, and then today and tomorrow, I'll be finishing up grading your rubrics or your discussion boards from the first week, using a rubric for those as well. And I believe that is about it. If I think of something else, I'll put a announcement back up. Yes, just going back. I'm sorry, going back to your discussion board. They're saying this says to post your second draft by Thursday at midnight. I'm going to say Friday at midnight, just because it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That gives you 3 days. I'd like to give you the extra day. So even though in here it says Friday, or it says Thursday midnight, I'm going to say Friday midnight, and then respond by Sunday at midnight. That part stays the same, so that you have enough time. So then when you do respond to your 2 fellow students' essays, answer the 4 questions that are listed there. And let's see, I think that's about it. Yeah, so Friday by midnight, have your second draft, revision draft, which would be assignment 2.4. Have that posted to this discussion board, and then respond to 2 other people by Sunday at midnight. And that gives everyone that Monday to be able to polish their final draft. Because by that point, by the time you get to the second draft, you shouldn't be looking at big, huge changes. It should be grammar, punctuation, maybe tweaking some phrasing and wording here and there, things like that. So at that point, you shouldn't need as much time to do your final draft preparation. Like I said, okay, so now I think that's it. If I think of something else, I'll post an announcement. I'm really looking forward to reading your narrative essays. The thesis statements that I saw and the free writing I saw, there are some very powerful experiences and testimonies, and so I look forward to learning more about each of you by reading those. And we'll talk to you later, and have a great week. As always, email me, tammy.stevenson@moody.edu if you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, and I'll be happy to get back with you. I get back with you within about 24 hours. Thanks. Have a great week.